Hey there guys, what's going on? Welcome to my little studio abode, my studio space here, where I want to do it's kind of a vinyl unboxing, but really it's not because there's not a lot to talk about with it, and it is an old album. And it's actually more of just an album discussion and kind of, I discovered this really cool record, that I really, really like, and I want to share it with you guys out there. I want to talk about it, I want to make a video about it because I think it's really cool, and I think, you know, if you like this kind of genre, this kind of style, you should be listening to this record because it's really good. And that record is G-Love's Fixin To Die. Now, Garrett Dutton, or G-Love as his musician name goes, has been in music for a pretty damn long time. He was around in the early 1990s, 92, 93, in that really early period of time. And he was always an interesting mix. I didn't, of course, come on to him until way, way, way later in things, given I was only 2 or 3 years old in 1993. I didn't come on to his stuff way, way later, but I always found it interesting because he blended things like hip-hop with blues and folk, but a lot of fusion of blues and hip-hop, which was very interesting to kind of hear a guy, you know, putting out rhymes and different, you know, schemes like that, behind sort of a blues backing, behind harmonica, behind some really cool stuff like that. And I ended up getting acquainted with his work through Jack Johnson and a lot of the artists who were associated with Jack Johnson in various forms and types, like Matt Costa, Money Mark, Donovan Frankenreiter, up and down. But Garrett was always an interesting case, and I actually sort of lost track of his music over the last couple of years. I really hadn't listened to him whatsoever. And just recently, in fact, I come across this article really extolling just what a great musician he is, the great records he's done, you know, the great sound that the great sound that he's had with G-Love and Special Sauce. And I came across this record that this person pointed out in this article that I just happened to read about how G-Love, back in 2011, had done a record with the Avett Brothers. Now, I've never really talked about the Avett Brothers on my channel or in any of my videos before, but I've always just sort of liked their music as a casual fancy, like, okay, I have some of their songs to put on Emotionalism or the song Murder in the City, different things, and you know, I like their sound. They got a great folk thing going on, great harmony work, all that kind of stuff. I've always respected them, at least if they weren't a big part of what I listen to musically. But I thought, well, this is an interesting fusion. And the video that the person posted in the article was for the first song, the title song for the record, Fixin To Die, which is an old traditional blues song, a lot of hand claps, a lot of just some real energy to it, just kind of a big sounding blues song. And not that I know Garrett and G-Love's work enough to really, attest to this, but it was interesting really because he can vary between kind of having the hip-hop voice kind of spitting out the words sort of, and just kind of spitting and spinning them, sort of, and then really singing as well. Not, I'm not adventing one over another, but I liked how it really sounded when, he did something a little bit off the beaten track and did, some singing, there's like even a ballad song or two on here, and, doing some covers, mixing, harmonies with the Avett Brothers, really trying just sort of a different thing, and I thought that was really cool. Of course, I fixated on Fixin To Die, the traditional blues song. You Gotta Die, which is another old blues song. Really interesting, not morbid at all trend of things going on here. And they're great covers of 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon, and the song Pale Blue Eyes by the Velvet Underground by Lou Reed, of course, who sadly passed away last year. But it's one of those records, and I don't know if you've ever really encountered this sort of phenomenon, or at least how you approach the listening of a record. But I always find this with records that I really end up enjoying, like records that no matter what, they're just like signposts. I just keep coming back to them because they just have that extra special something. And it always starts with, it seems like, enjoying, okay, so I like the first song, and and then I like the third song, and then the ninth song, and then I like this, I like this set group of songs. This is really good. And then you kind of listen to the cartilage that's strung in between all of that, and then you realize, well, hey, I like 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, which has such a cool vibe to it, and kind of gets all kind of folk, almost bluegrassy in the middle as kind of a jam and all that, and Pale Blue Eyes. But then all of a sudden, I really like Katie Miss as this kind of a ballad-y kind of a song. And then Milk and Sugar is just fun and very typical like G-Love fashion, just kind of a foot stomp and blues, just kind of a a silly song about coffee of all things, but it works, it's cool. And then all of a sudden it's like you start stringing these songs together, and it's like, wow, well, I like this song, I like that, I want to hear all 5 of the first songs, like, or I want to hear the first 5 songs. Like, it's not like skip 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't like 4. I'm gonna go here. It's like 1, I like 2, I like 3, I like 4, I like 5. Oh, and then the record's over, and it's like, wow. This record really, this record just went from solid to like, this record is great. There's really just a great blending and a great merging of the material, and he just works splendidly with the Avett Brothers, and I can't really talk about this record enough. It's just super, super good, and I just give you the requisite sort of unboxing. That's the cover there. In the back, produced by Scott and Seth Avett. Simple little design, single fold, and you've got all the lyrics here, and lyrics there. And they're printed on a pretty simple little, actually, I completely forgot about the fact that this is actually printed on red vinyl. But this is just, it's apparently never going to go back in again. Oh, there's a download card in here too, fancy that. There you go, the download card for this. But I wanted to make this little video here, as it's rapidly becoming a longer video, so I'm going to wrap it up now. Because, I don't know, I guess I'll phrase it as a vinyl unboxing album, but it really just should go under the category of cool-ass records that you gotta check out. If you like kind of folk and blues and a bluegrass element, not heavily, but a little bit of banjo stuff going on, some harmonies, and kind of this hip-hop nature still kind of blended in there a little bit, you gotta check out G-Love with Fixin To Die. Really good, great contribution with the Avett Brothers, and I gotta talk about that. I had to talk about that and show that off to you guys. So, go check that out. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching this little video. Definitely was excited to make it and get in there and sink my teeth into it, but keep it here, keep tuned in for more cool videos, more stuff coming up, more reviews, vinyl stuff, everything under the sun, and as usual, taking the world by storm in 2014, so keep it here. Thank you all very much for watching.